Today I would like to share with you the metaphysical principle in the Bible of how to call forth anything that you desire in this world. I'm going to teach you how to call those things that be not as though they are. And by doing so, you're going to get the full esoteric and metaphysical understanding of St. John 11, where I speak about the resurrection of Lazarus. Okay? Now, the very first thing I like to share with you is that these characters that you're reading about in the Bible, they are not literal people who existed thousands of years ago. They are states of mind. They are states of consciousness. Okay? And these states are ever present. They are, as a matter of fact, they are infinite states of consciousness, awareness, and you can fall into any one of these infinite states that is here on certain level of vibration and frequency. That is why you have to understand the secret on which this whole universe exists. Okay? And the secret of the universe is that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. Okay? Therefore, there are potentials, abilities that are lying dormant within you, and you must activate what is lying dormant within you. And I'm going to show you that in the principle of sowing and reaping. You see, every seed carries in it the germ of life. And that germ of life must go through the process of death, burial, and resurrection before it could bring forth fruit. And whatever fruit it brings forth, it always brings forth after its own kind. Well, most people understand this principle in the physical three-dimensional world, but very few people can master this same principle in the mental world, because most people fail to realize that everything was first a thought, it was first an idea, it was first imagined. Every book that you will ever read, it must have to first be a thought or an idea, it has to first be imagined. And we are living in a world where people read books and they form religion from reading books. And the people fail to realize that these books are books of mind science. For example, if you grew up in a colonized country, okay, where you have a colonial mentality based on the way how you were raised, based on your belief system, based on what your parents passed down upon you, you carry that around for so long that you can actually believe a lie for so long that you think it is the truth. That when others come and show you that it's all a lie, you're going to get offended. That is why it is very hard for you to convince a religious and superstitious person that they are brainwashed and that no one is coming to save them. Okay? So my brother and my sisters, once you understand these principles that I'm laying down for you, then you will understand that you have in you the resurrection power, which is the same power that is used when the farmer sow the seed and the seed bring forth many of its own kind. For example, we live in a world where we use money as a medium of exchange. But what they do, they just keep duplicating the one thing. And so all around the world, money is accepted as a medium of exchange. But very few people realize that the real value is their living, flowing currency that circulates throughout their body. The greatest discovery of electricity that can be discovered is when you discover your anatomy, your physiology, your biology, your psychology. When you understand the mechanism of your body and you understand mind science, that is when you will be able to operate in the resurrection power and you can call forth your Lazarus to life. Since you're living on this planet, have you ever seen any man, any preacher who call anyone from the dead? Literally speaking? No. Since you're living on this planet, have you ever met anyone who takes literal water and turn it into literal wine? No. You have to be delusional and mentally retarded to really think that it is a true story that is speaking of people who existed thousands of years ago. You have to be dumb to think so. So what they do, they set up systems to keep you dumb. So you would know that you have in you the power to create. You wouldn't know that you have the power in you to resurrect. Because they don't want you to know that it is speaking of your potential. All of your potentials that are lying dormant within you is dead Lazarus. Not the man who's dead and buried. It is all the greatness that is within you that you're failing to discover. And so when people fail to discover the power that is within themselves, they end up going to jobs that they do not love. And so they live an unfulfilled life and they never honest with themselves because they believe that there's some entity outside of themselves that is responsible for the things that are happening in their life. And so instead of you taking accountability for your words and your actions, they give you a devil to blame. But if there's no enemy within, there's no enemy on the outside that could hurt you. Okay? So you live all your life and you believe that there is an entity outside of yourself that is evil. And you never accept your evil self. Because most people fail to look in the mirror and see the devil in the mirror. Most people cannot accept that the devil is their negative self, their lower self. Okay? So they make you become self-righteous and make you believe that you're better than someone else because they don't do the same thing like you. But You can never appreciate the day and not appreciate the night. it, it is very stupid to think that you're going to live in a place whereby there will be day, and no night. Living in a place where there will be night, and there's no day. No. There must be balance. Okay. Only when you understand balance that you will understand that you have a power in you. And that power that you have in you, you can use that power to hurt, or you can use that power to heal. You can use that power to resurrect things that was lying dormant in your life. For example, I can challenge anyone, any part of the world, to go in a lion den. There is no person in this world who would want anyone to take them and put them in a lion den. But you know, there are people all around the world who believe there was a literal man who was in a lion den with a hungry lion, and he turned back on the lion. And they believe that they had the same power inside of them, but they will never put themselves down in a lion den. You know why? Because they know that they live in a lie, and they do not really understand what it is saying. You see, when you go into circumstances in life, and you could turn your back on those circumstances in life, those circumstances that could devour you, make you sad, make you down, you turn your back on them. That's when you're real Daniel. Don't make the fool that make you think. You really think there was a man thousands of years ago been named Daniel who was down in a lion den? No. It's when you turn your back to your situations that you think will harm you and tear you apart and destroy you. I don't know no real lion. You can look for any person who say they believe them foolishness. I wouldn't listen to them foolishness. Take them and tell them you put them down in a lion den. And ask them if they're willing to go down in this lion den. And then if they believe some man will come and save them out of the lion den, they will never. Okay? So, my brother and my sisters, when you understand the Bible from a metaphysical standpoint, and you understand it's a book of mind science, you free yourself. No religion will ever be able to hold you and keep you down. You would never believe that there was a man who had special powers and who could have called back the dead to life. No, you're the one who will call back the dead to life. Even when a man and a woman come together in the act of creating, which is through the act of physical sex. Okay, and every one of us come into this world through physical act of sex, which is sacred energy exchange. And most religious people don't even know what is the meaning of sex, right? And it was when the masculine and the feminine energy came together, we had this human experience here. Well, they were involved in the act of creating. Now, if you could see that in the physical realm, you must be able to see it in the psychological and mental world also, and then in the spiritual. So when you have a desire, that feeling that you have, it's not this physical body have that desire. It's the spirit have that desire and want to have that experience as that man. Whether is it that millionaire, that multi-millionaire, that man who's making 100,000 plus per year or whatever. It is not this man want it. It is not you seeking that because you're trying to impress friends and relatives. No. It is that spirit in you want to have that experience, that is longing for that experience. And I'm saying, when you realize that you are the 13th one with 12 principles, 12 powers, starting with love, which is John, then you will be able to call forth your Lazarus. So my brother and my sister, what is your Lazarus? It could be the job, your dream job. It could be your dream house. It could be the place you want to go and live. It could be anything that you would like to achieve in this world. That is referred to as your Lazarus, which is dead. And you must call forth that which was dead. So my brothers and my sisters, the reason why most people never discover their potential that's lying dormant within themselves is because many people are not open-minded. Many people are not willing to unlearn and relearn and reprogram the subconscious mind. Many people still believe in false education. Many people still believe in false identity. Many people still believe in religion. And they still chop in religion. And your religious belief system will always keep you broke, poor, miserable, and will keep you in limited mindset. But if you want to live the best version of your life on this planet, you have to discover that you've been searching for yourself. And that there's no one to change but self. There's no one to blame but self. There's a man who normally be around the capital area in my country, always preaching everybody to hell. And I'm the only man who would approach and say, you want to change everybody else in this world except yourself. You know what he says to me? He says, you demon possessed. And he doesn't even realize that he be a reflection of himself, and he doesn't know that. So we are not here to try to change other people. We are here to change ourselves. And once you realize that you're only here to change yourself, you would know that you must become the change that you want to see. So my brothers and my sisters, operate the resurrection power that is within you. That's the power that gives us money. That's the same power that gives us the automobile. That's the same power that gives us the aeroplane. That's the same power that they're using in China. That's the same power they're using in America. That's the same power they're using in all the world. It's called mind power, not religious power. Okay? So the more religious you are, the more easier for you to be controlled. The more easier for you to be brainwashed. The more easier for you to be deceived. Okay? That's why so many people were deceived in the time of the pandemic. Okay? For example, I remember every Sunday I used to go down next to a church and laugh with the people having masses around their face and singing and clapping with masses around their face in the time of the big pandemic. And these were the people who was willing to take the vaccine. And the reason why they was willing to take it because they had loans and mortgages with the banks and the credit unions. Yet these are the same people who want to tell you about God. But if they know God, they would know that God is not broke or poor. Okay? Because you look at the trees always bring forth in abundance. You look at the sea always bring forth in abundance. And so because they've been brainwashed and deceived, they were willing to use an experimental drug in their body because they are living on survival mode. So my brother, my sisters, the reason why I'm saying all of these things to you is because I want to say to you, you're not here to live in survival mode. You see, when you're living in survival mode, you could be easily deceived. You could be you'll become gullible. That's why, like for example, in my country, just recently, many people were brainwashed to give away their money to some get-rich-quick scheme called Creators Alliance. Because people think that there's some easy way around life. And they believe that they could check the laws that governs all of humanity and the laws that governs the universe. So they want to remain in their religious and superstitious mentality. Yet they want to inherit abundance and prosperity. To turn around to try to convince the world that some outside entity is making them prosper. But my brothers and my sisters, the same principle you use to light a fire in China It's the same principle you have to use to light a fire in Japan, in the Caribbean, in Africa, and all around the world. Well, the same principle that make a man rich in America is the same principle you must use to make you rich living in the Caribbean and living in Africa. The same principles that they use to keep you dumb in America is the same principle they use to keep you dumb in the Caribbean, in Africa, and the rest of the world. And that is why the three main system that is set up to rob you of your greatness. First, they set up the early school system to rob you of your inner power. And so they make you only think on the things that they tell you to think about, but they never really teach you how to think. That is why most of us, when we leave school, the next thing we was looking for is a job, because they would have already prepared us to just be workers, never to discover our greatness, okay? And so, when you cultivate the right mindset about yourself and the right mindset about your conscious and the subconscious mind and how your conscious and the subconscious mind works, then you will know what to teach your children also, okay? Because you see, in your formative years, your subconscious mind was wide open for programming. That's why they program you to think and believe a certain way. Like, for example, every woman in this world born with a virgin hole. But I live in a country where they convince the woman that they could just throw away their virgin hole that they born with, and another man will step in and they will call him stepfather. And people in my country will call me stupid, crazy. When I tell them what they did, they used the Bible to create a nation of hoes. So they tell the woman that they could give away the virgin seal, and then another man would step in and become the father for their child. They never teach them responsibility for the crutch. And so when a man like me will tell the truth, they will hate you for the truth. Because everybody believes that there's such a thing as a stepfather when they could only have one father in this world, one biological father. You could only have one biological mother. But they convince society so, till they reach to the point that they teach the children in school that they could have such a thing as a single parent family. When you take a man and a woman to come together before you can have a family. And no man can have sex in this world unless a woman's forced say yes. She have to say yes. And she was given that power. Okay? And they brainwash them. While, on the other hand, those people in the Middle East, like in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, all of these places and so on, in the Middle East, there's no such a thing as stepfather. Because if a woman go with a man and they're not married, they will kill her. They will stone her to death. So what they do, they use religion to take one set of people to go to one extreme, and then they take another set of people a different part of the world to go to the other extreme. So unless you do not understand balance, you would know that you have the power inside of you to resurrect anything that you want to resurrect in this world. To bring anything that you want to bring into your reality. So, the whole world have been brainwashed. So they pull you from one extreme to the next. So, like for example, when a person live in the Caribbean, when they live in Africa, they set up the system in a way whereby the people would think that they not have enough to eat and drink. And when they go to America, they give them so much fast food, junk food, in such a cheap way that the people, they become obese and junk. And when I say junk, I'm not speaking about drinking alcohol. They get so commercialized. Their mind gets so taken up that they get drunken with all the activities all around them. And they never get time to think. You understand what I'm saying? So they keep them so busy. Okay? All they do is eat, sleep, and shit. Eat, sleep, and shit. And they never really get to think. Okay? So my brother and my sisters, many people around the world today believe today to be Resurrection Sunday. And they never stop to think why it is spelled Sunday, S-U-N-D-A-Y, and not S-O-N-D-A-Y. You go anyway and you type in Resurrection Sunday, you go see you spell Resurrection Sun, S-U-N-D. Guys, see the sun has been coming back each and every morning. And most people do not know that it is the returning of the sun. Most people live in this life and do not realize that the sun is the giver of our life. That the sun is the light of the world. Do you know that there are people who tell you that Jesus is the light of the world instead of they tell you that the sun, the S-U-N, is the light of the world? Because they've been brainwashed from so small to have such a belief. And do you realize that of all the races of people on the planet, that the only people who believe in a savior that doesn't look like them is black people? Black people, savior that they believe in doesn't look like them. And if you be honest, you go to any part of the world and you check the finances or the earnings of people all around the world, you see black people on a very low level of earning. Okay? It is because they believe in false God. They were given false God. Okay? And so many of them, they go to church every Saturday and Sunday. And they don't even know they are worshiping the devil. They think they are worshiping God. They are worshiping the white man. The white man give them their image of a blonde hair blue-eyed boy and tell them that he gonna come one day from the sky to save them. But my brother, my sister, I'm saying the saving power is within you. The redeeming power is within you. That's why I'm saying you have to believe in yourself. Not in a man 2,000 years ago. You have to believe in yourself and you have to experience your resurrection Sunday. Sunday, light day. The sun in you. That's why I've been teaching the inner sun science and technology to create your reality consciously. Okay, all those videos are available on my Patreon. You can get them. It's for people donating $20 or more. You have access to all of those. Okay. Also, you have access to a course on self-concept. That's a bonus course. Okay. That's on my Patreon also. So, in you is a sun, a S-U-N, a light. Okay. And that is the light that you must awake. That is the light that would bring anything to life. And what do I mean by that? Your thoughts will become things right before your eyes. And you will prove that you are a deliberate and a conscious creator. Because that's exactly who you are. So my brother and my sisters, do not believe in any Lord or God or Savior outside of yourself. Everything that you will ever desire in this world is within you and can be found within you. Okay? So as I come to a close here, never read the Bible and see Jesus Christ as a man who existed 2,000 years ago. See that name as a personification that represents your imagination, your awareness of being. As a matter of fact, here is my Bible where Jesus has been omitted. This is the New Testament right here. It's called the 66 Books of Magic, the Overcomer's Bible. It's to introduce you to your magical self. Okay? All of these books are magical in nature if you understand them the right way, and you will be able to live a magical life. So if you haven't gotten my book, the 66 Books of Magic, the Overcomer's Bible, you can get the New Testament and you can get the Old Testament. Is in 2 books. You have book 1 and book 2. Okay, and my Old Testament end with Chronicles, not Malachi. You see, the Chronicles, read any book, any one of the Chronicles, whether 1 or 2, and you will see it always starts from your birth to your death. Your death announcement is where they're reading out your Chronicles. So it's the last chapter of your life it is talking about. Okay, your Chronicles. Okay, it's from your birth to your death. That's why it must be the last book. Don't make them fool you. And with the New Testament, I didn't start with Matthew, I start with John. John represents love. You have to start with self-love. Okay? So it's very important that you get this kind of knowledge. It will become very, very, very useful to you as you continue to wake up. And when you fully awake, then you would realize that you can resurrect whatsoever you want to resurrect in your life. Then you will understand the story in St. John 11 about Lazarus. Lazarus being called forth from the dead. Okay? So my brother, my sisters, you know, even as I was mentioning earlier, okay, and I didn't go on to the point, but let me go on to the point where I was talking about the physical act of sex, right? And the Bible tell you that in Genesis 2, where it tell you that the soft part between a man tied a shrink. Okay? You know, it is you who does resurrect that back, and you call it a erection. It is go dead, then it's erect again. That is in the physical. But it just take place for us with mental, psychological. And then you go back to our spiritual. So, if the desire for sex is spiritual. It is not carnal. But carnal men who want to control you, they tell you that you must pay the state some money and you must go before a man, a clergy, and he must read from a little book. And you must repeat after he, and then he say, by the power. I want to know which power he have that you don't have. By power of God, he make you husband and wife. That's a brainwash. That's not the know it in the Bible. Where he tell you must go and pay your state some sort of money and you must get a man to read from some little book. No. Every time a woman goes with a man, she married to that man, but they don't want to take responsibility for their virginity in this part of the world. So they misinterpret the Bible to run a society of hoes. So they make black women hoes. That's what they did. Okay, so they use religion to make black women so masculine and argumentative because they wasn't taught the truth. But my brother, my sister, I'm here to teach you the truth. And I'm saying it's only the truth gonna set you free. And if you wanna call forth those things that be not as though they are in your life, you have to reject all of the brainwash. And you have to stand for what is truthful. Because there's no man in this world could justify that a woman should give away her virgin whole that she born with and refer to another man as the father of her child. No. You have to take accountability. Women in our society were never taught to take accountability for what has been given to them between their legs. And the preachers can't speak these things. They can't. Because they will walk out at the churches. Okay? So they're preaching for meal ticket. But I'm not here preaching or teaching for meal ticket. I'm here to enlighten people. Okay, so my brother and my sisters, go back and read that story in St. John 11, where they tell you Lazarus was called forth from the dead. They say, Lazarus come forth. It's you who gonna call forth where you want. Where you want. You want to drive Lamborghini. You want to drive Rolls Royce. Wherever you want to drive, it's up to you. In the Caribbean, we don't have them things they don't. But where I live, we don't have them things on there. But even if you want to be the first person to own one here, you could. There's nothing in this world that can stop you from being what you want to be. For as you think, so shall you be. As you believe, so shall it be done unto you, my brother, my sisters. Don't make nobody fool you. Every religion have two sides. It have a side that was given to the masses, and it have a secretive side. End that story. So you're gonna do. You listen to someone who you have tried his ways and proven it for yourself, and you know that it doesn't work. And you're telling me you have something to lose just to try this other way to see what's going to work. Well, I'm going to tell you my own testimony. I do everything that the clergy told me to do when I was following secular Christianity that was pointing me to look outwardly. And I knew the result I was getting. But I know when I changed And I accept the fact that it is my own thought that creates my reality and creates my personality. And I accept the fact that as a man thinketh, so is he. And as you believe, so shall you be. And I start to understand energy, vibration, and frequency. And I start to change me feelings and me emotion. And I start to see life from a different angle, think from a different angle, understand the Bible from a different angle, read it and understand it from a different angle, say from a different angle, share it with others from a different angle, and which one make more sense to me and which one give me more result, which one work for me, that's the one I'm sticking with. That is why I'm giving you a chance to prove for yourself which one is working for you. When you go on your knee and talk to a man on the outside, or if when you close your eyes and you go within and appropriate your life whichever way you want it to be, and you resurrect the things that were lying dormant within you, and you start to find your ability and your creativity and you start to use it for the upliftment and advancement of yourself and the rest of humanity. Put it to the test. So my brother and my sisters, I come to a close here. I would encourage you to reach out to me for a one-on-one. If you want to do a one-on-one with me, you can do a one-on-one with me on an app called Faithia. The link is provided down below. If you want to do it on a different platform, you can reach out to me. Okay, but on Faithia, you'll be paying a little bit less. If you reach out to me directly, you'll be paying a bit more. If you want me to mentor you for a month, if you want me to mentor you for 6 months, 3 months, for a year, whatsoever, okay, all of that could be arranged, okay? If you want to work with me on Faithia, I can do that, but Faithia is just like a 30 minutes, okay? So the choice is yours. I'm willing to help you to prove for yourself. When I discovered that the Savior is within me, no one could brainwash me again. I am telling you, I used to do these things unconscious and I never did realize it as I who was doing it. But when I find out how I was doing it, I could teach anyone how to do it. Because when you do it, you think, well, probably it was a coincidence. Then when you do it a second time, you still go wonder. Then when you start to do it 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times, and 7 and 8 times and 9 times and 10 times, then you realize you find a science and you walk with a science, and the science walk by certain law and certain order. And once you stick by the certain law and the certain order, the science can't fail. Then you realize no man in the sky. You realize no man 2,000 years ago. That's why you realize man just call and some outside savior and just get result. Because they don't know it's a science they walk in. So a man could call on a stone, he could call on a tree and he could get result because he don't understand how his sciences work, how his science and mind does work. Well, that's what I would like to share with you. That's why I'm showing you when you understand the Bible from a metaphysical and esoteric standpoint, or you understand it differently. Because you read all your life about calling forth Lazarus from the grave, and you think it's a man called forth a man from the grave. You ever see any man call forth any man from the grave? And after they done that for 3 days, you ever see that happen? I mean, you can't think to know that that's a metaphor. It's metaphoric. But now when you start to understand it now, then you start to say, oh, I am the one with the power who could call forth my Lazarus from out of the grave. The things that be lying dormant within me and so on. It's I. Yes, it is you. That's why, my brother and my sisters, I could only teach you how to believe in you. I could only teach you how to love you. I could only teach you how to embrace you. I can only teach you how to find the truth in you. That's what I'm going to do with you. So if you want us to work together, feel free to reach out to me. Also, if you want to be at my page and community, you're welcome. If you haven't read any of my books, I'll definitely encourage you to get my books. Also, I'd encourage you to get this book, the 66 Books of Magic, the Overcomer's Bible. This is my Bible. Okay, this is where Jesus has been omitted and there's a blank space for you to write your name, which is I am. That is your name. Not no man thousands of years ago. You are the Christ. And when you put I am there, that is command. When you put I am, you are acting as the commander. You have no other commander. There's no one between you and God. Don't let anybody fool you. They tell you how Jesus is the we call it the intercessor, something like that. They say no mediator. They tell you he's the mediator between you and God. What they do, they separate you from God. Don't make them separate you from God. Anytime you believe that you separate yourself from God, you cut off yourself from God. There's no mediator, only you. You're the operator. You're the generator and you're the destroyer too. Only you could destroy your life, and only you could uplift your life. No one else. I am just sending out the message. I am only the messenger. I am only the messenger. You don't set your hope on the messenger, because the messenger not pointing to himself. The messenger is pointing you to look within yourself, saying to you there's no one to change but self, there's no one to blame but self, and saying to you, you have in you the resurrection power to resurrect anything that you desire into your reality. Prove it for yourself. You see? As I come to closing, my brother and my sister, this is where self-discipline will come into play. This is where self-mastery will come into play. This is where a mentor will come into play to help you along the way. They help you along the journey. And then afterwards, you will become the master. You who was once a student, you will now become the master. Okay? Sorry I didn't I have my glass with me here today. Okay, to read this comment, but I want to thank each and every one of you who have commented and have taken part in this live. But the most important thing is that I'm waiting your testimonial, because you were willing to put everything that I'm saying to the test and make it a lifestyle. Not a thing you do because you're just desperate, but make it a lifestyle. This is how you're going to live the rest of your life, knowing that you're a conscious creator and a deliberate creator, for you have in you the resurrection power to resurrect anything that you desire into your reality. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I want to say to you to enjoy resurrection sun, S-U-N, day, because it's the light that is within you that you must use to resurrect anything that you desire in your life. The power lies within you. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I'll definitely see you in another live. And please remember to reach out to me if you want to walk with me with a one-on-one. Peace.